Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the ECMWF extended model for today's second video, going 6 weeks ahead. And this is going to take us, actually, can you believe this, just about into the beginning of 2022, just about into the first days of the next year. So, wow, you know, going a long way ahead with this one. And we'll see what the EC extended has got to say about weather for the next 6 weeks in a moment. I should get on with that for you momentarily, just to say that the first video release date was our 7 AM upload. It's Saturday, so we've got weekend broadcast coming up for you, as always, on a Saturday weekend look ahead with a 10 to 14 day, including all our break features as well. Please like, share, subscribe on all our videos, and thanks everybody for doing that. Thank you so much to ECMWF.int for supplying these charts, as always, of course. And yeah, we'll crack on with it then. Just say the focus on this update is from the UK and Ireland. We do the wider European outlook with the EC extended on a Tuesday. Okay, so let's have a look then. We're going to begin with the week 1 mean sea level pressure anomaly, which is showing high pressure through the Atlantic going up towards Greenland and Iceland, low pressure across the northern and western parts of Europe. That leaves us bringing in a cold northerly, maybe rather northeasterly wind across not only western, you know, not only UK, but generally across western parts of Europe. The 500 millibar height anomaly also shows that as well, with above average heights again extending from the Atlantic up towards Greenland, below average heights across the northern and West Europe, and again the winds are in from a north or northeasterly direction. Looks potentially cold, doesn't it? So temperature anomalies across many northern and western parts of Europe are coming out colder than average, and the UK and Ireland is included in that. Next week is colder than average. This is from the 22nd, 29th of November, of course, cold and average for the final week of November, and reasonably dry as well, as it often is when it's cold. It's relatively dry, but there could be some showers down the eastern side though, and in the north, those might be a little bit wintry. But overall, just a rather cold and dry week to come as we end November. Right, that's week 1 done. Let's have a look at week 2. This will take us from the 29th of November to the 6th of December. That's how we're looking in week 2. So the above average height still in the Atlantic. We're going a little bit more towards France, Spain and Portugal. Still that trough of low pressure over Scandinavia, northeastern Europe. We're bringing in like a northwesterly here, I think. So probably still quite cool, actually. But a little bit of modification from the Atlantic. Probably sees things becoming less cold there at the end of November and into the start of December. 500 millibar height anomaly for week 2. Looks like that with the above average heights again to our west and northwest, so below average heights to our east and northeast. Again, means that we're bringing in the wind and the jet stream, wind flow and jet stream on a northwest to southeast alignment. It's not going to be particularly mild, you know, it's not going to be particularly warm, but it's not as cold as it is with those northeasters. So the temperature anomaly, we lose the coldest temperature anomalies that have in week 1, and we go to average to our west. It's a little bit mild average. Not as much as northern Europe, still quite cold, as is much of southern Europe. I suspect this will be a little bit more unsettled too, so the precipitation anomaly reverts back to being quite close to average, really driving average out to our west and nearer normal elsewhere. Right, week 3 will be the 6th through to the 13th of December. What does it show? So this looks dry and mild for this week, with high pressure then, like across western parts of Europe, and winds coming up from the southwest. It's kind of like back to what I've had, you know, through a lot of November, with high pressure over to west and southwest of the country. So week 3, 500 millibar height anomaly looks like that. High pressure, perhaps a little bit further northwards than you will think from a mean cell pressure anomaly perspective, though. It means that we might get frost and fog, depending on how far north that high pressure is. But I reckon that is more or less trying to get back to kind of pattern we've had through much of November, which is mild and dry. Temperature anomaly isn't excessively mild, though, actually, so it's a little bit above average, particularly for more northern, northwestern areas where we're drawing in that southwesterly wind. I would suspect it'll be relatively mild, relatively dry, I should say. And we do see much of western, northwestern Europe is coming out dry and average there as well. That's a quite mild week, really, I think. Week 4 is the 13th to the 20th of December. We're getting closer to Christmas. New Year now, of course. So just high pressure becoming stronger, really, and centred over the top of the UK and Ireland. in that middle part of December. By this point, where the high pressure is, it would imply that there's an increasing risk of frost and thaw. You know, so I would have thought by this point it's probably starting to get quite cold under that area of high pressure. 500 millibar high anomaly again has that big area of above average height just sitting there over UK and Western parts of Europe. The temperature anomaly actually lifts up, which is a little bit surprising. You would have thought under that high we would probably be generating frost and thaw. We're 4 weeks out now, so we're a very long way out anyway. It's not really worth worrying about, but it is a rather milder week, which I think is a little bit surprising. And the precipitation anomaly, you expect it to be dry. It's a relatively weak signal, as it always is in week 4, but it does imply that much of Western Europe is looking pretty dry there. Right, let's have a look at Christmas then. So this is week 5, 20th to 27th of December. Let's see how it's looking. Where's that high pressure go? Does it go north to Scandi? Does it go south to Spain? Here it is. Right, so this was quite interesting, actually. It does look as though we get some slightly higher pressure towards Scandinavia there. And also out in the middle of the Atlantic. Low pressure is down here. Could that be starting to bring in a little bit of an easterly, maybe? Maybe, as we go towards Christmas. That would be interesting if we manage to do that. The 500 millibar height anomaly also looks a little bit more interesting. The high pressure ridging from the Atlantic towards the north of Scotland, and it does go towards Scandinavia some degree. So certainly for the south you could see, but we might bring in a little bit of an easterly. Low pressure across southern parts of Europe would imply quite a wet Christmas for much of the Mediterranean. Temperature anomaly goes colder. Look at this, a little bit colder than average as we go to the Christmas week. Wow! I was not expecting that. A little bit of a twist here from the ECMWF extended today. So a little bit colder than average across western parts of Europe there, courtesy of that perhaps developing Scandinavian high signal. And it's rather dry as well, as you'd expect, but it is a really weak signal. Right, so last week is week 6, and that would be the 27th of December to the 3rd of January. Wow, 2022. This is how it's looking then as we begin or go into the new year. And there's not really much to work with there, is there? So we've got some lower pressure still down towards Spain. That hint of a Scandinavian high has gone. That's a bit of low pressure around Iceland. I think I'm just putting some question marks because it's not apparent at all what's going on there, is it, as we get to the new year. 500 millibar high anomaly for week 6 looks like that. Again, very, very weak signals here. So what is going on? We've got a bit of high pressure, just like the Azores side. This is placed further away from us than would typically be expected, actually. Some lower pressure down there. And again, just put in the question mark because it really isn't clear what's happening in week 6 through the New Year period. Temperature anomalies don't really shed a great deal of light either. This is very, very mysterious for the New Year, isn't it? Precipitation doesn't shed all that much light either, to be honest. So I think week 6, is one of those weeks that is just completely mysterious. But December, anyway, it looks like... So we've got cold weather coming up next week. We're going to have a cold week next week. And then it looks like December, early December probably sees a recovery in the temperature, becomes a little bit milder. Still relatively dry, though. And that high pressure signal actually strengthens as we go further on through December. So anticyclonic with high pressure dominating means another dry month. And by Christmas, we might start to get high pressure up towards Scandinavia if we do get wind into the east, and it could be a rather more seasonable feeling Christmas than a lot of people would be expecting, I think. We'll see about that. It's a very long way out, 5 weeks away, so don't get overly excited about that. Right, okay, so we've done that one. Check out 7 AM broadcast if you have not yet done so. We've got our weekend broadcast coming up for you very shortly, and that was another 10 to 14 dayer as well. So keep checking back to the channel for all of the content. But for this week's EC Extended, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.